quality of water determined by quality of life, will determine the quality of life. Okay, so when we talk about drinking water, I'm not sure what is the mindset that we normally have. Is it as long as we see the water is clear, as long as we have a treatment, we have a filter unit at home, that then fine already? Is that the mindset that we have? So to me, I think eventually what we want to achieve is actually to know the drinking water that we have at home, right, is safe. And it gives us a peace of mind. When I say peace of mind, right, then you might also ask, I thought all water filter will give us the peace of mind, right? So not really. Okay, so along with my sharing, then you'll find out more what do I mean with the peace of mind and the comparison of the other brand that we have in the market, and what is the advantage and disadvantage of each of them. Okay, so but first of all, before we discuss further about the quality of water and whether the water that we consume at home is safe or not, right? I think it's more important for us to first know the source of water and how water actually reach every household in Malaysia, at least. Okay, so in Malaysia, right, you know that the water is coming from our water dam, all that. Okay, so Malaysia is a country whereby we are blessed with a lot of rivers, we have a lot of water reservoir and so on. So that is the reason why we also generate a lot of our electricity in Malaysia using the water power, okay, like the empangan that we have in Malaysia. Okay, but at the same time, we also make use of all these water sources and then actually channel it to every household. Okay, so unlike like Singapore, they don't have a lot of water reservoir. That is the reason why they are actually need to buy from Malaysia. But of course, now along with the advancement, they also learn how to actually treat water from sea, from ocean water and so on. They also come out with new technology to actually reuse and also recycle the water they have in the country itself. Okay, but generally, when we talk back about Malaysia, right? So this is the flow and also the process that we have when the water starts from the source. So here actually you can see from the water dam, then it will actually accumulates the water and then it will flow to a series of treatment. Okay, so when it flows to the series of treatment, normally it will be managed by those water treatment companies. Okay, so they will actually do the treatment in a very, I would say, in a very high level method. Okay, so you can see of course they need to remove the sedimentation first. So when the water is flowing from a natural source, it will have a lot of sands, particles, and also stones. So all these big sand particles, it will undergo a process of sedimentation, even like mud, those, and then after that it will go through a filtration process. And it is during this process that they will add in a lot of post-chemical. So when we talk about post-chemical, is including like chlorine, which is the most common one that they use to actually remove all the bacteria and organism which is harmful in the water. And then fluoride also to actually make water clearer, and also hydrated lime, all these chemical they will input into the water. Okay, but your next question you might ask, is it harmful to human body? Actually, in the long run, we will not know, because when the water comes to a different area, right, the density and also the content that still remain inside the water is differ by areas and also differs by household. Okay, so if let's say high density, of course, we will have the worry because all this is actually chemical, right? So then you will actually boil down to what kind of water treatment that we have at home. Okay, so once all this process, right, then you will undergo a very long process to the reservoir. Okay, and then you will go to the every area, residential area, every industrial area, retail area, and so on. So you will notice like sometimes when we're driving, we saw a big tanki at the one particular residential area. So those are actually the big tank that actually cater for that particular area. So that is also flowing from this main reservoir to that particular main tank. Okay, so we know the process of the treatment roughly, but we also need to also aware that it's not the treatment of water doesn't end there, right? So it will still need to transport and move to a very long journey before it reach every household. So for example, in this picture, you can see it's really a long process. So in along the way, right, you will encounter a lot of, especially the piping system in Malaysia is already very aging. Okay, even in new area, they need to pull the water resource from the water supplies from the main pipe. And most of the time, unfortunately, our main pipe is aged main pipe. So it has been installed there for years, okay, like 10, 20, 30 years even. Okay, so all these old piping, right, of course, inside got already a lot of sediment and also a lot of rust, a lot of other pollutants inside. So it doesn't matter how much effort they put at the beginning stage that they do all the treatment that we mentioned just now, along the way, it will get polluted anyway, okay? So especially some old pipe, there's also a leakage and also break. So it's not something new to us. Sometimes even when we're driving, we also saw next to the road, there's a lot of piping that bursts, right? So any opening of those pipe, right, it exposes the water that comes to our house to all this. Okay, during the distribution, the water definitely will be exposed to any waste like medicine waste, pesticide, chemical residual, and also other pollutants. As long as the opening and also the piping that we use is aged, and also a lot of chances for all this pollution to come in along the way, then our worry is actually valid. Okay, it will be valid, I think, for many years in future as well. So what is the solution? Not just to scare everyone here, but the solution actually is in our hand, whether we want to have a good treatment unit at home. Okay. So to understand the type of different property that we have in Malaysia, and also I mean worldwide, okay, normally we categorize into two big category. One is the landed one. Okay, normally landed got many types also, but generally for landed, you can see here there's a main pipe. So the water supplies will be coming in from the main pipe on the left here. So the water will then flow into a lot of direct use. So for direct use, normally it's like for your kitchen, for your downstairs, toilet and so on. But for not indirect use, it will actually flow to our tank at the rooftop first. And then you will go to the, like, sometimes it's the bathroom in our upstairs and also for other rooms and so on. Okay, so if you want to test your water, whether it's clean or not, using a different tester, right, it's best to actually try the one that at your yard, or you try the one at your kitchen and so on. Okay, the one that direct from the main pipe, then you'll know the quality of the water for your area. Don't test it using our bare eye, because our bare eye cannot see a lot of things. You can use some of the chemical tester test, or you can also do some filtration if you want to. Okay, so other types of property that we have in Malaysia is the skyscraper type, the high rises. So for all these high rises, is even is also almost same the concept. It's just like not directly from the main pipe, but it will goes to the tank which is at the top. Okay, so how often do we actually go to the rooftop and check all these tanks? Seldom, right? Don't say that the resident themselves, but even the management office, I also don't think they will check it regularly. So it's all depend on, hopefully is it working well, and hopefully there's nothing disgusting inside, right? But is that hope really happening? A lot of time it's not. Okay, unfortunately also a lot of time all this tank, when it's not checked or a long time, or sometimes got water disturbance, and then the water flow back again, a lot of sediment, all that, you will flow to where? All this tank. Okay, and then all this tank will supply water to where? Each of the every unit of that high-rise building. Okay, so to me, landed or high-rise building, we don't get to see our tank very often. So even if you're staying landed, right, how often we climb up to our rooftop and check the tank, right? So whether the cover has been displaced, whether inside got some insect or animal dead body, we also don't know. Okay, but the accumulation and also all this dirt, this picture provided by Amway, right, is real one. It's not that they go and pollute one. So this is something very common. And as long as we understand the logic of how all this water flow and before it goes to our household, then we'll know that this is true. So no matter what kind of treatment they do at the beginning, like I said, again, that's pointless, right? So here also some of the news that actually I share, this one consider long time already, 2020. Okay, I should actually update the slide to some 2021 events because all these events, right, is like happening from day one until now. Every year, every month, every week, we will see this kind of news coming up. Okay, it's not like you say, oh, Lens share this news is actually from last year, so this year okay already, no such issue. No, every year we also got this kind of news like water plant shutdown, okay, and then water disruption. I think the most recent one is the one more serious one is like PJ area and also a lot of other Klang Valley also. So I think it's already very common to us, okay? But do we think behind it actually what is happening? Why got all this disruption? Why they stop the supplying, all that? Okay, certain time is because of the pollution shutdown. Okay, so when they say there's a pollution shutdown, right? They base on the benchmark. So when the benchmark go to like critical health threatening level, then they will actually stop the supply. What if it haven't reached the benchmark, right? So this is something similar like when we go to do body checkout. Sometimes the marker say, oh, you got cancer cell, but it's not the serious yet. So you concerned or not? Okay, so every day, to me, if you ask me, actually every day also got pollution happening. Okay, just that the moment when they shut down is like for very serious, very critical case. Okay, but day to day still got. Don't tell me that no people dump all this toxic, no people dump, there's no oil spill anywhere. Okay, there is. Okay, so other than that, we also need to concern about the water tank incident. So this is also another example of the inside the news. Like just now when I show the rooftop tank, right? How often we check? Okay, certain new development or certain new project, of course, they will actually maintain because the fund is still there. But for those very long time already, condo or apartment also, okay, long time already, no people paying the sinking fund, all that, no people pay the maintenance. Management also didn't engage any vendor to do inspection because no money, ma. So you see in this news, the water actually burst. Okay, come to that extent, when the water tank can burst, that means there's already so many chemical reaction happening inside the tank itself before it bursts, because it's like a plastic material, right? So before it bursts, sure, it has become hardened and so on under the heat, all that. And then imagine all those chemicals that go into the water, and every day people is drinking those water if let's say they don't have a good water treatment system at home. Okay, and like I said just now I mentioned one is small case like animal or insect corpse, right? But sometimes there's also human. Okay, for this news is actually got people, I don't know, suicide or being killed or what. Okay, I didn't go into detail, but there's a corpse also. So this is some news also. Like I mentioned, just ignore the dates because all this is happening all year long, every year. Okay, so I just picked some of the news that like I last update up to 2020 also. So you can see whenever there's any construction, whenever there's any new road being built, all these old piping, they will be affected. Okay, when they did accidentally break it because it's too vulnerable already, because the material has been thinning so long, so many years already, and certain is because when it's being too long, it bursts itself also got. Okay, so you see so many pipe bursts and so on. So all this water that flowing inside, right, definitely will go in, all this mud will go in, wherever chemical that they have at the construction site will go in. So where does it go to? You go to all the residential tank, and then you go to our household. Okay, so you can see here is just an explanation that the pipe source can be several kilometers long, right? So all these main pipe and also the long edge pipe, right? Okay, is very hard to fix one shot. Okay, so Malaysia plan is actually they will do it phase by phase. So whenever they come to the phase 10, probably the one in the phase 1 already old also. So need to change again. Okay, we never plan it properly and do it the right first time. So we have too many backlog of old piping in Malaysia that even mentioned here that certain pipe is already stagnant or they already have a sand or moss inside. Okay, so it's really unsafe for us to drink directly from the water pipe for sure. Okay, but what kind of treatment that we can do for this water that flow into our home? Later I'll share also different types of treatment that we can do. Okay, but before we go into that, I also want to share one statistic that actually show the water leakage and water piping burst is quite serious in Malaysia. Because just now when I show some of the news cutting, you might say, oh, it's only very special incident or certain few incidents. I know it's happening everywhere, including those that not being detected, some being water being stolen, and some being intentionally being damaged, okay, to steal water for the illegal area and so on. Okay, so how can we know that? Is from the numbers and from the facts that we can get here. Okay, so you can see here actually is the NRW is actually non-revenue water. So that means revenue water means whatever water that the government supplies or the agency supplies, right? They will collect money from us, right? So example, they supply 1,000 liter of water, they supposedly collect back 1,000 liter of water fees. Okay, but that is not the case. You can see now the NRV and NRW percentage is so high. I mean, across every different state. Okay, at least also 20% and 30% and above. So that means out of 1,000 liter, I got 200 to 300 ml gone. Don't know go to where. Okay, piping burst or someone stole or what. Okay, so as long as these numbers remain high, I think again our concern on the quality of the water that we get at every household is legit. Okay, and government try to reduce the NRW to 31% by end of 11 Malaysia plan. Okay, this is back 2 years back. I think Malaysia plan 11 Malaysia plan, I think it's ended last year, but I don't think it goes anywhere near to 31% or so. It's still very serious. So not only in Malaysia, across globally, we can see so many countries also facing this issue. Of course, like third world country, all that is the highest. Okay, so and when we know that the NRW issue is there, and then water pipe bursting, so no matter the chlorine that you put inside, as long as it's already exposed and so on, it could already have the chemical reaction and so on. So a new pollutants that go into the main pipe and then come to our home, it will include chemical thing and also non-chemical thing, but also dangerous. For example, microorganism. Microorganism got many types inside the water. So the first, there are a few that I can introduce to you, which is also very common. So the first one, like bacteria, E. coli. Okay, so this is commonly known as E. coli. So it's a very, I would consider quite dangerous bacteria, because whenever we drink the water with or food that contains this E. coli, we will have vomiting, diarrhea, very serious. Okay, so it's a normally this bacteria, right, is living in a environment which is not clean. But how actually it goes into our water source? So I think the answer has been answered in my earlier sharing. Okay, we also have hepatitis A, which for hepatitis A, you can know it is a kind of virus. Okay, so for virus, it's very stubborn. Okay, we also know a lot about virus already during this pandemic period. So if let's say we have this virus in our drinking water, it will also cause all these symptoms. Okay, it will, in the long run, it will also affect our health very critically. For example, it will attack our liver, and liver is one of the very important organ in our body. Okay, so you will not know the moment you start drinking all this water. Probably like after years, then suddenly you come to this kind of health issue, and then you don't know where is the source. Is probably the accumulation of all these years you are drinking the water that is not properly treated. Okay, and then like Legionella, okay, is the type of bacteria commonly found in the fresh water also. So if let's say it also spread widely in the man-made water system, yeah. So it also endanger our health, diarrhea, headache, cough, chill and high fever, all this. Okay. So we also have parasite. Parasite is something that if let's say the moment they go into our body, they can actually stay there for a while, you see. Sometimes we also bump into the news whereby people have the parasite in their body that grow into such a big size, right? So that's the meaning of parasite, because they get the food, everything from the host. Okay, so if let's say we have parasites that go into our body through water, okay, so it's something very dangerous also. So imagine it's not only go into the adults, it might go into kids and also old people in our household, right? So mild one probably is like also fatigue, diarrhea, all that. But in the long run, you might have a prolonged health issue if let's say they stay there and then they consume all your body health system. Okay, so this is another type of parasite. So this is like in round shape. So this why I especially mentioned this is to let us know also there are so many microorganisms that actually resistant to chlorine also. Chlorine is being used because it's the most effective, but it's not 100% effective against everything. So there are so many organisms, for example, this one particularly is resistant to chlorine. So it will still go into the water source. It will still flow together with the piping, everything, come to our house. Okay, so it will cause diarrhea, our stomach will cramp, okay? Sometimes we will feel dehydrated very easily. We will have also nausea, vomiting, fever, all that, okay? So those are just some of the example and not all, yeah. So with those example, we already know there are so many types of threats that we have in the water source. So if let's say we didn't actually treat the drinking water seriously, right, then we are actually taking all these things into our body long term. Of course, sometimes you don't feel it, but sometimes when you sick very seriously, then you think, hey, I didn't eat anything wrong. I also didn't go out mingle with people. How come I got all this sickness? Okay, could be due to air, could be due to the water that you take. Okay, so now I want to emphasize the importance of water, because I think you guys should understand the importance of water as well, because water we take every day. Okay, every day we need to take like 2 to 3 liters of water if possible. And then not only that, just for drinking, but water also play a role in a lot of things in our life, right? So for example, starting from the top, you can see we use it for our healthy shake. We use it to make our favorite coffee. Okay, we use it to make milk for our kids and so on. So you might have the very good you might have a very premium quality coffee bean. You might have the best milk powder for your kids and so on. But if let's say you are using not quality water, then it defeats the entire purpose. Okay, it defeats the whole purpose, because eventually you are still giving something which is not 100% healthy to our family members, right? And then this one is making dough. When we do baking, all that, we use water also. You use the water directly from a tap, or you are using a filtered water. Okay, so when we cook instant noodle, when we prepare our fruits and vegetables for cooking, all that, are we washing it using I'm not sure how many of you just straight away wash using the water from the kitchen. Okay, so I just want to be honest here. Actually, previously I used to wash directly from the water pipe. So after I joined the business, I learned a lot from all these speakers sharing about our water treatment system. I get to know that actually it's so wrong, right? If we know that the water source itself, we cannot guarantee it's safe, it's clean, and we are using those water to actually wash our fruit, vegetable, and also our even chicken or seafood or whatsoever. Okay, thinking that it's okay because we will cook it anyway, right? And then after that, all the organism will die. Okay, but what about chemical? Okay, chemical, you cannot cook it to vanish, right? So to me, right after I joined the business, I already changed the habit. Okay, I will only wash the fruits and vegetables and also the food that going to be cooked using a filtered true water. Okay, so some people also enjoy the tea, all that. So same thing, same concept like the milk and also the coffee. If you are using a very premium tea leaf, but you bancho using the water which is not quality and you're not sure whether it's already properly filtered, then also it defeats the whole purpose of the healthy lifestyle, right? Okay, so there are so many things that we cannot see in the water, including those that I shared just now, microorganism. We have also VOC, which is volatile organic compound. We also have disinfectant. Okay, we have arsenic, lead, mercury, all these heavy metals that we have in the water, drugs, chemicals, industrial excrement. Okay, and guess what? All this can we see with our bare eyes? Too bad we cannot see all this with our bare eyes. Okay, all this is like very small particle inside the water that there's no way we can see with our bare eyes. So how do we know whether the water that we use is safe or not? Okay, so there are some criteria to justify whether that water is actually a true water. So our definition of true water is basically, first, have to retain all the good mineral. Second, improve the purity, clarity, and also the taste. And then number three, remove all the 140 pollutants or contaminants that we have in the water. Of course, as many as possible, but we are the only one that actually listed out all the more than 140 pollutants in the market. So in the market, there's no other brand that actually lists to you their lab report, what they can remove and so on. Number four, remove 99.99 waterborne bacteria and viruses, the microorganism that I mentioned just now. Do you have the technology to actually remove that and at the same time retain good mineral? Okay, so that is the definition of true water. So any of this, if let's say to me, if it doesn't meet any of this, then it will be actually not healthy water and is not properly filtered. Okay, so this is the eSpring. So of course tonight the main topic is about true water, and what I would actually suggest and also recommend all of you to actually look up is actually our eSpring unit. So this eSpring unit, if I want to summarize all the benefits or I want to go into detail, it will take very long time. So I'll summarize all the key points here in this one slide. So you can see first is the one that we mentioned just now, one of the criteria, it can remove more than 140 different pollutants as per listed. Okay, and then the micron of our filter is also clearly stated 0.2 micron. Okay, so in the market also, so far I don't see any water treatment system that actually disclose their performance in terms of micron. And then it's effective 5,000 liter water or 1 year, whichever comes first. And then for 2 years of warranty. Okay, it's a very confident product. It provides a 2 years warranty, and second years onward, the maintenance is only 11 cents per liter. Okay, so it's so transparent in terms of the specification and even in terms of the maintenance cost. There's no hidden cost that they will tell you, or after 3 years, then suddenly this change, that change. No. Okay, the cost of your water use will be consistent with only one cartridge to be changed, and that will make your per liter of only 11 cents. Okay, much cheaper than even if you buy like the 5 liter water outside and then you bring back home, you have to carry every day. That is even more expensive. So if you watch or you see any of your friends around that actually still carrying water like that, buy water from a hypermarket, okay, introduce them eSpring. Okay, you will save them a lot of hassle. You also give them the true water. Okay, and then it remains all the beneficial mineral, calcium, magnesium, and fluoride, all those and so on. Okay, whichever that is beneficial to our body, it will remain because it's not using the RO technology whereby it filters out everything. Okay, so for the eSpring Purify system, we also, I think this one by now is already 11 or 12 consecutive years now, because this one I update up to 2020. So it's already 12 years consecutive we get this Frost & Sullivan Best Practice Award. At the same time, we are also trusted brand for consecutive 17 years already. Okay, so I'm not sure in the market what other brand that you can get such a long consecutive years of winning all these awards and also being voted continuously as the most trusted brand. So if you ask me, you want to look for the best one and the most reasonable maintenance for family, definitely will be eSpring. Okay, so a little bit on the technology that we use, what makes it so powerful, what makes it world #1 selling water treatment system in the world, okay, is because it's very simplified. At the same time, the technology that used is cutting edge. Okay, so inside, of course, first, we have a wireless electromagnetic connection. So what's so special about this patented technology is that we are using a UV light inside our cartridge to kill all the 99.99 of microorganisms, which is might be harmful to our health and so on. But at the same time, do you realize that there's no wiring connecting to this tubing to ignite this UV light? So that is a patented technology that actually Amway have in this water treatment system. So it's connecting to it mounted to this cap that actually will detect the usage, and also whenever there's a water flow, it will actually ignite the UV lights inside. So that is very amazing, right? The technology they use. And also for this particular one cartridge, inside we also have a weak carbon block. So you might say, oh, carbon is common. Other water filters also using the same, but there is a different. Our carbon is also a patented activated carbon block because it's using the coconut material, the coconut carbon, and then actually they break it into a very fine powder before they form it back into the block form. So by doing that, it actually increases the surface of the carbon block significantly, and it can filter the pollutants more effectively. So you can see we even do the test that actually the carbon block, right, the surface that we have, right, for this carbon block is equivalent to 261 football field size. Okay, so that is the reason why you see how come we change one cartridge, our eSpring cartridge can last for 1 year. Whereas a lot of the brand in the market, right, they're not only having one filter, they have 2, 3, some even up to 5 filter inside, and all those filter you have to change every 2 to 3 months. Okay, so don't be tricked by their package or the lease to own package, but once the contract ends, you will be very headache changing all those filter one by one. Okay, so this is a very powerful filter because it's with the technology inside, and the surface is enough for us to capture 5,000 liters of effective true water. Okay, so these are actually some of the microorganisms that being listed in the 140 items. I just highlight some of the important one and more commonly known one. I have gone through just now with you guys. I will not repeat again. So these are the full list of the more than 140 items, which is clearly black and white listed, and is even in the official of Amway website. So other brands, to be frank, I don't see any this kind of disclosure. Okay, because any that they fail to do, they will be sued. Okay, so when we list publicly like this, Amway is very confident, and we already have a report to back all these claims and support. Okay, so on top of that, I also you will also feel, okay, I'm in Amway business, that's why I always say eSpring is the best. Okay, and then the other brand will also say they are the best, right? So I think to be fair, right, okay, we refer to the third-party certification. Okay, fine. If every seller will tell their product is the best, right? So I think the most independent one is go to the third-party certification, because third-party certification, they will only recognize your unit the moment your unit can perform this up to their standard. They give you this standard. Perform up to this standard, they give you this standard. Okay, so for our eSpring unit, we have the most NSF standard being recognized by them. Okay, a total of 6 standards and also protocol being recognized. There's no other water filter in the market that actually get more than us. Okay, so number 1, NSF 42 is recognized for our taste and aesthetic, because the water once filtered is still very original and it tastes very good as a natural water. Okay, number 2, NSF 53 is for the health effect. Okay, it's actually to recognize the water already perform all the filtration and is healthy for drinking. Okay, number 3, NSF 55, the UV light microbes. Okay, so the UV light technology that actually remove the microorganism and all the harmful bacteria, virus, all that, also being recognized. Okay, NSF 401 is for the emerging compound. So there are actually 15 emerging compounds listed by this NSF, and not all water filter. And of course, if let's say they don't have NSF 401, you know already they are using their previous technology, and as usual, the previous technology is still not able to perform this to filter out all these 15 new pollutants that they discover in the environment and so on. Okay, but for our eSpring, when we tested for this NSF 401, we filter everything also. Okay, so that means with our patented technology, we are able to filter even for new pollution that we found in the water source. Okay, and then on top of that, NSF protocol P477 is for the blue algae. Blue algae also is very common in Malaysia. So it's a type of algae that actually emits very toxic substance into the water, and then it will actually take away life. If let's say the density is high, it will kill someone. Okay, so this is very dangerous. Okay, our water treatment system can also remove effectively. So NSF protocol P473 is basically to effectively remove PFOA and also PFOS. So what are these? Okay, so these are basically the chemical that very widely and very commonly used nowadays for plastic material. So every industrial area or any industry, right, as long as they produce a product, there is a plastic inside, then they will be using this kind of material inside their manufacturing, and then it becomes so prevalent inside our water sources. And that is the reason why they come out with this new standard. Make sure the water treatment system able to filter this kind of contaminant also, and eSpring able to do so also. So if let's say any of the brand out there can perform better in terms of a third-party certification like we are, then by all means you can do your fair comparison and so on. But if it's not, then go for the one that actually recognized by all these very prestigious association. Okay, and then for Water Quality Association, it's also a very prestigious, very important association inside the water treatment community. So we are being awarded with a gold seal. Okay, so don't just see any water filter that they have these badges also, but make sure it's not just members of WQA, because as long as they are member of WQA, they can put that badges already. But ours is not only the badges, we are gold seal. Okay, that means the highest recognition already in the WQA. Okay, so for all the things that I mentioned for third-party certification and also the awards that we get, you can also do your self-check, and you can do the fact check by just go to their official website. You can search the certified product, and then you key in eSpring, you key in Amway, and then it will come out our eSpring product with all the 6 NSF standard that I mentioned just now. And then even WQA, you can also do the fact check yourself. You can go to the website, and you can also always play with by keying in the competitors and also other brands in the market. You will realize that some not even pop out anything. Okay, so for the usability, so just now we mentioned about the technology that we have. Okay, and then the third-party certification, and then also in terms of practically when in real life, right? How powerful is our eSpring water treatment system is back then when there's a very serious flood happening in Bangkok. The government sourced around in the country which are the brand that actually can immediately produce clean water for the victims, all that. Okay, because there's so many water supplies being terminated and so on. So they need to actually mobilize all these truck and then give the clean water to the people. How they do that is actually pump the water from the ground, right? Those water that on the flood side. Okay, so you can imagine those water is so dirty with a lot of faces and also a lot of pollution and so on. So they need to suck immediately from the water itself and then filter immediately and produce the clean water. And in the end, they found that actually Amway eSpring is very effective in removing, and then it's also highly recognized by all these third-party certification. So that is the reason why it's being picked in the market, and then they actually use this to actually help a lot of area. Okay, so just now we mentioned how do we actually clean out our water that comes to our house, right? So there are also people that still not using any water filter. They just use a very traditional way, boiling. So from this chart itself, you can see already, okay, boiling bacteria and viruses is a question mark because we have parasite and also bacteria that is so resistant to chlorine. We also have microorganisms that are very resistant to heat. So do we boil long enough, or up to what temperature we boil also we don't know. Okay, so whether it's effectively removing is a question mark. And then of course for other chemicals, like I mentioned just now, okay, we just very confident wash our fruit, vegetable, and also our cooking ingredient using the tap water, right? So all these chemicals will actually stick to and being absorbed to our fruit and vegetables, right? So even when you cook or boil, right, it will still be there. And worse is the reaction of the chemical reaction will actually make it more carcinogenic. Okay, in the long term, it might cause cancer and so on. Okay, so for RO, of course, very good, remove everything, but too bad it removed the mineral and the goods one also. Okay, and on top of that, it also a water wastage. Do you know that RO water, they need to use about ratio of 1:4? They want to give you 1 liter of clean water, they have to waste 4 liter. Okay, so like my office, they are using a RO technology. Okay, one of the C brand. Okay, so that brand actually, you will always heard the water is like flowing out to the sink. Okay, it's the wastage. Whenever they want to fill up the tank, you will see there's water flowing out. Okay, so it also easily clogging. So for area with a low pressure or high contaminant, then it will actually have the clogging issue. For alkaline, totally baseless. Okay, there's no any scientific research that's saying that alkaline is good for health and so on. Later, I'll also have one news cutting to share with you all. So for carbon, okay, it's the most common one, but like I said, you know already what is the difference of eSpring carbon and also the other carbon. So, but for generally carbon, right, it can remove all these things, and then this is question mark chemical and VOC, and then bacteria and virus cannot. Okay, so why question mark is depending on the quality of the carbon that you use, whether it's an activated one like ours, or it's just a normal carbon, or very harsh one. Okay, so for UV, it actually compensates what cannot be done by the carbon, as you can see here, right? It can effectively remove the bacteria and also the viruses. Okay, so if from this chart, right, I mean, if we are smart, we know that the combination of these two can actually does a very good work. So that is what actually what we have in the eSpring technology. Okay, so this is actually the pH that I mentioned just now. Alkaline is just a baseless a baseless claim. It's not that we intake a alkaline pH water, then it will good for health. No such thing. Okay, so these are actually all history of a lot of a lot of issue that we have with the other brands in the market. Of course, it is already over. Okay, they already come up with a new model and so on. But what I'm trying to deliver here is that why today we want to go for a brand which is reputable. They have good history throughout the years and from the day one until now. And then the company is responsible. And then the company also very emphasized in terms of health, safety, environmental friendly, and so on. So they will, whenever a company put profit over all these values that I mentioned, right, then all these things will happen. They go for the cost-cutting material. They didn't do a proper R&D before they market the product because they want to move very fast, right? So we don't want to fall into a victim of using this kind of product, right? So also, I want to share with you guys some of the very practical things that you can think yourself on top of the 3 categories that I mentioned just now, the specification technology and also third-party certification, and just now the practicality of the life. And then another thing is, of course, when it comes to survey in the market, we can throw ourselves very valid question. Okay, whenever we approach all these X brand in the market, right, you can see this is I done it long time ago okay. Not so long now, 1 to 2 years ago, I done this as an experiment. So you can see when I approach all these seller, they never explain to me the quality and also the effectiveness of their unit, but rather they'll always ask 2 things only. What is your budget? How many people staying in your house? So are we buying a water treatment system based on budget, based on how many people staying in our house, or we are wanting a unit that does the work first? Then only we think about whether it can cater up to so many people, whether it match our budget and so on, right? So I think the sequence of concern is already wrong. Okay, so not only this brand, you can see even I ask other brands, same thing. They always revert back the same thing. Okay, how many family members? Okay, to me, if they have so many different models, basically just to cater for different numbers of headcount at home. Like, okay, you say 2, then they say, oh, go for the smaller one. Okay, we have this cheaper for you. And then if let's say you've got 5 or 6 family members, they go for a bigger unit. This one better for you. So do you have a thinking that, hey, actually this unit perform the same or not? If let's say perform the same, why the price is different? Basically just because I have more people staying at home, I have to pay more. So to me, it doesn't make sense. I really cannot digest this kind of marketing technique. But if let's say, if we think back, eSpring, do we ask you how many family members or not? No, it goes by how many effective liter of water it can effectively serve your family, right? So it doesn't matter you got 10, 11, 12, 13. If you use more water, of course, you have to change the filter more often and not based on how many people, and then you determine what kind of model that you use, right? So don't tell me that the smaller unit or the cheaper one doesn't filter that well, but it's okay because just 2 of you. Okay, so that is very funny to me. Okay, so just also share some of my experience. Okay, like I said, in my office, we are using this brand. Okay, so this brand, this model itself is using the RO technology. So RO technology, if you take long term, there's no mineral. Okay, there's no way you will get mineral from your water. It's like a air gosong on it. Okay, but it removes everything. But wastewater, okay, so you see the very small in the picture. The blue color tubing connecting to the sink is basically to outflow all those wasted water. So that means they flow out a clean water, 1 liter inside, 4 liter will 3 to 4 liter at least will actually be waste, and then it will flow directly out to the sink. Okay, and then another thing I want to bring your attention is that, like, during this pandemic, right? Okay, all this, like, their service, their house visiting, their regular servicing, changing filter for you, all that, it stopped. Okay, so you can see there's a schedule here. It stopped at the March. So when I go in recently, this unit like so long never service already, still can drink or not the water? So this question also come into our mind, right? I mean, logically, if you think it can drink or not. So if let's say can drink, why they still need to service so like frequently in the past? If cannot, then we need to ask ourselves, if let's say during this pandemic or even after post-pandemic, the new normal is we would not want people to come our house that often, like especially stranger or we don't know who are there, then suddenly they come. Of course, service why we want that service, but we at the same time we also don't want to have so much interaction with stranger and visitor to our house. So the answer is, to me, actually, we can cut down the frequency of this changing. Okay, eSpring only 1 cartridge to change 1 year. So even if you don't know how to change yourself, even your upline or your distributor that actually serve you, right, they will only visit you once in 1 year. And you can refer to this chart, January, March, June, August, in the past year, they keep coming. Okay, so how? You have kids, you have old people at home, that's not so convenient, right? Especially when we are now very alert to COVID, all these things. Okay, so and then another question you have to think, after the contract done, right, can you afford to keep changing filter like this? Okay, and will you be being no choice, you have to subscribe to their annual maintenance, which is higher already? Okay, so don't get into the short-term mindset whereby you feel that, oh, it's cheaper to lease and own. Okay, just buy it upfront because you know that this unit will already serve you for the next 5-10 years for your family, right? So for example, there's a comparison here, very clearly show you already. eSpring on the left, and then some of the common X brand I put on the right hand side. You can see NSF standard. Okay, go to check their website. Okay, if let's say today you have the certification from NSF, I don't think you will be shy to put it out. You will definitely proudly put it out, but there is none. Okay, so for Amway, we have for eSpring we have 6, and then Gold Seal, like I mentioned just now, technology we use very minimalist but very effective technology, patented technology, pre-filtered activated carbon and patented UV. Okay, so normally outside they're using very funny name so that you don't know what they are doing. Of course, it sounds very glamour, okay, but end of the day, whether it does the work, if let's say it does the work better, right, why there's no standard certification? Okay, and then number of filter 1, 1, and then it's 4, 4. Okay, the one that I have in office is like I think also 3 or 4 filter to change. Okay, so frequency of filter change once a year. This one you can see every 3 to 4 months change. Some is annual, some is 4 month, 8 month. So I don't know how frequent people will actually come to your house, service change. Okay, so if you buy it outright 2004 and now with the CSI you get 10%. Okay, check back with the person who invited you if you don't know how to actually get that benefit. Okay, and then for even for a combo with Morphe Richard is very cheap, right? But if you buy it upfront for the X brand, it will be high. Okay, because they encourage you to go for the lease to own. Okay, the lease to own per month it sounds like cheaper, but if I already calculated for you 5 years, 10 years, how much the maintenance fee, okay, you will be much higher, because right after the contract end, that will be the time when it escalate very high, and some even if let's say they discontinue that model already, you got no choice but to upgrade also. Okay, and you upgrade, you need to pay another new cost, right? But for eSpring, company already promised, even they discontinue or they come up with a new eSpring generation 2, for example, the previous eSpring will still have the spare parts for at least 10 years. Okay, so the maintenance is actually something that we need to consider, because this is not something that we actually will change every month, every year. Okay, we want to get a sustainable unit and just stick to that, and that's the one that we need to consider. So why eSpring? In short, performance-wise, it's guaranteed. And then we have the credibility, not only claimed by the seller, but also recognized by the third-party certification. And then for sustainability is the whether we can use it long-term at a very economic rate and expected cost. Okay, it will not give you surprise that say, oh, after contract end, per visit 200, per visit 100. Okay, that is something that we don't want, right? Okay, so on top of that, also you get a very good service from the person that you know. Okay, so whoever that you eSpring, either they themselves are the APO, or they actually bought the unit recommended by one of the APO, which is their own friend, their own circle. Okay, so you don't have to worry that all these agents suddenly surat tabua or what. Okay, so of course, you can also, if you are ABO, you can also learn how to change the cartridge yourself. If let's say you not convenient for a visitor to come to your house, right? So our unit is designed in such a way you can easily change yourself. Like we change for our own house one, and then we also can change for some of the customers which still don't know how to change themselves, but it's very easy. We have all the tutorial video and so on. So I think it's a very flexible unit. And then I think I have come to the end of the sharing of tonight. I have overshot a lot of the time. So if let's say in short today, you want to recommend or you want to learn more about this eSpring unit, right? Just go to the espringwaterpurifier.com. This is the official website published by Amway itself. So you can actually get a lot of the key points there. There's also FAQ there, can help you to answer some of your questions. And then at the same time, I want to relate back to the promotion that I mentioned just now. So just now I said I want to share also with you. If let's say today you are not using our water treatment system, how can you actually benefit from this promotion? First, of course, consider changing or upgrade your own unit to eSpring. Okay, especially if today you are in the business, then you should be the first ambassador for this brand. And then with all the information that I shared just now, you definitely don't have to worry that you opt for a wrong one, because it has been already proven in so many ways. Okay, and then also that's the first step. If let's say today you still don't have the unit, and you also thinking other than upgrading yourself and trade in yourself for this eSpring, what can you actually promote it to others? Can. Okay, I have so many experience that previously when I just first joined the business, even when I share the eSpring cartridge promotion, all that, you realize that there's a lot of actually people out there using our eSpring, but there's no people servicing them, because probably last time they get into a certain distributor that actually not so serious in the business. They didn't continue the business and so on. So they are left there without any people servicing. So you'll be surprised today, even if you are not using eSpring, you can also share this promotion in your social media and so on. And you might also be surprised. Actually, this friend pinged me and he said he actually using eSpring and want to order the cartridge from you. I have really so many real case experience that my ex-colleague, my friends, all that, they're actually using. And then because of me publicly posting in my social media, they actually ping me and say, hey, you are doing MWay now. Oh, this one got this eSpring cartridge promotion. I'll get it from you. Okay, because probably previously they get it from another seller which actually didn't give them a good service. But if let's say you are the friend of them or you are closer to them, of course they will get it from you because you can actually give better advice, give better value, give better information to them. Okay, so that is how actually we should actually grab all the opportunity to share whatever promotion and the good deals that we